Some say you can never go back to the city built for dreamers, but I know we can find it on our own. One shot that we fire at the sky, but this time we are together, right here in this moment where we belong. We come one tonight. I've been waiting for your wake-up call. Growing stronger now. I can hear it in the thunderstorm. We sing, oh, I don't wanna do this without you. I won't let go now that I found you. Now that I found you.
And welcome back to the Spicy Sports Show with Sam Cerrone and Tom Crane. Right now it's about little 5 after 6 out here on the West Coast, 5 after 9 out on the East Coast. So, again, just to keep up to date what we have thus far. So if you're looking at it, from the West region, Tom has Oklahoma, Tom has Oregon, I have Oklahoma. Tom has North Carolina. Coming out of the East, I have Providence. And out of the South, we both have Kansas. So finally, we're going to go over the last region of March Madness. So we have the Midwest region, headlined by Virginia. Again, 2 teams from the same conference as a number 1 seed is really rare, but West Virginia has the combination of a top 10 efficiency in terms of offense and defense. So it shouldn't surprise you that they're a number 1 seed. They played really well. They played arguably the best defense in college basketball. As I mentioned before the break, other notable teams, Butler, typically a contender, always a miracle somehow to get to the tournament. Purdue, you have Iowa State, Seton Hall, Gonzaga, Utah, Syracuse, Dayton, who's been surprising 2 last couple years, back-to-back Sweet 16s, and then finally Michigan State. So without further ado, let's start out at the top here. UVA Hampton. Remember last season when the Hampton coach called Jesus for help against Kentucky? Well, he's going to need help against Virginia. No question about it. I'm picking Virginia huge in this one.
Cavaliers versus the Buccaneers. Cavaliers got 2 swords. Buccaneers only have 1. Giving it to the Cavaliers.
Done and done. Texas Tech is a team that really has surprised a lot of people entering this tournament. Tubby Smith has done a fantastic job with a roster that really isn't tournament worthy, but got them to an 8 seed. Really impressive. Butler, we always know what they're capable of. They're going to play a slow down game, and they're going to beat you inside. I like Butler over Texas Tech in this one.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go Butler over Texas Tech as well. They had a strong regular season finish. But they lost in the Big East tournament opener, which took a little bit of luster off their strong season. But I see them rebounding and, once again, beating Texas Tech.
Purdue is a team that, again, when they're on, they're on. They have physicality inside, and they can shoot as well on the outside. 2-2 for Purdue against the top 25 in the country. Number 10 in the BPI rankings, so they've played some of the better teams in the country. You're going to have to watch out for A.J. Hammond, 14 points per game, 7 rebounds, a little under 8, and 2 blocks per game. He sets the pace for this team. I like them in this game huge.
I agree. AJ is the linchpin to the Boilermakers, so if he plays well, they'll go far. Go Purdue.
Okay, moving on. Iowa State and Iona. Iowa State, I believe they were a team that was upset early in the tournament last season. Don't expect the same this year. I like Iowa State's senior leadership in this one. Georges Niang is one of the best players in college basketball. This senior-laden lineup really wants a really good showing in their final tournament. So I'm going with Iowa State over Iona in this one.
I'm going with Iowa State also, and I'm going to say that this is going to be a high offensive power machine. Both of them are averaging about Iona's averaging 80 points per game, while Iowa State's averaging 82 points per game. The big thing for Iona is their fast break offense that generates at least 10 3-pointers per game, tied for 10th in the nation. So if Iowa State wants to stop the 3-point perimeter shot, make sure you put pressure on the outside, or else you're going to be caught down and you're not going to be able to catch up. But Iowa State.
Now up next, we have two teams who are arguably the hottest in the tournament. It's kind of a bummer that these two are playing against each other. Seton Hall, who, again, our good friend Paul Whitman is a big fan of because he goes there or went there. They've come out of nowhere to get a 6 seed in this tournament. And Gonzaga, who, again, struggled for the majority of the season, particularly due to injuries to a couple of big men. But Gonzaga's come roaring back to win the West Coast Conference championship, the postseason championship, and now they're an 11 seed. I like Gonzaga barely. When it comes down to it, they have enough experience. Kyle Wiltshire, a member of the 2012 Kentucky National Championship team, transferred to Gonzaga and has played really well the last couple seasons. Has been inconsistent, but I think he can carry this team against a Seton Hall team. While good, not as good as Gonzaga.
I'm a Zags fan, but I'm going to have to side with Paul and his Seton Hall Pirates this time. Unfortunately, I do see some of the injuries hindering how far they'll actually go in the tournament, and that's why I see Seton Hall actually beating Gonzaga in the first round, especially since they closed out a regular season winning 9 of 11 games and then beating number 5 ranked Xavier and number 3 ranked Villanova to win the Big East tournament. So I see them riding a high right now, and I don't think that high is going to stop.
Okay, Utah and Fresno State, a 3-14 matchup here. Again, Fresno State in the tournament for the first time in quite some time. Utah, a 3 seed. They played a really difficult schedule, but got blown out in the championship game by 30 points to Oregon. That being said, I think they have enough to regroup to beat this Fresno State team, so I'm picking Utah in this one.
I agree. I'm going Utah over Fresno State. Despite falling against Oregon, Utah is still a strong offensive team, and I see them being able to stop Fresno State.
Now, as I mentioned before the break, Syracuse isn't a team that I really thought should be in this tournament. If I'm going to argue anything out of this entire bracket, arguing that Syracuse shouldn't be in this tournament. 19-13 on the season. Granted, they're playing in an ACC, but they went 2-5 against the top 25. Again, granted, Dayton went 0-3, but they won their tournament. Syracuse really hasn't done much damage at all this season. Going 500 in the conference also shouldn't help. But that being said, I still like what Dayton can do. Archie Miller, who's Sean Miller's brother, the coach at Arizona, they have a really tough team. They can beat you in whatever way they want, whether it be one-on-one and defensively. Great depth, and they have a couple of transfers here with Dyshawn Pierre and Charles Cook. So, this Dayton team has gotten to back-to-back Sweet 16s. I don't see them slowing down in this tournament, starting off huge with a big win over Syracuse.
Dayton and Syracuse is a tough game to call. Just the factor that Dayton does not have anyone taller than a 6'6" person in their rotation. I see Syracuse dominating in the paint, but Dayton's also good with their defensive rebounding, even though they lack the size. So this actually came down to a coin flip for me, and it came up Dayton winning. So Dayton over Syracuse.
All right. Up next, back to the top here, I have UVA and Butler. UVA is, again, one of the strongest teams in the tournament just because of their ability to pressure the ball. This Butler team, while good, was probably going to turn over the ball more so than they should. Picking UVA in this one.
You went to UVA Butler. Michigan State.
Whoops.
Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot. Michigan State, easy.
Okay, Michigan State. Okay, and now back to Butler versus University of Virginia. I'm going to go with Virginia over Butler. I don't see Butler going past round of 32.
All right, no problem. Let's see, Purdue, Iowa State. Yeah, I figured. Look, Michigan State's a good team. They're going to beat Middle Tennessee, no problem. Yeah. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But yeah, picking Michigan State easy. Purdue, Iowa State. This is going to be physical. AJ Hammond and that team are going to have to be as physical to take down an Iowa State team. Again, they have a lot of veteran players in this team that have been to the tournament, know how to play. That being said, I still like Purdue's efficiency over Iowa State. Iowa State has been somewhat inconsistent at times. I like Purdue's that's a little hot right now, a little hotter anyway than Iowa State. Picking Purdue.
I agree. I'm going with Purdue over Iowa State because of efficiency. Efficiency always wins games. So, go Boilermakers.
Gonzaga's been a team that, again, as I mentioned, they struggled a lot, but when it comes down to it, they have a player in Kyle Wiltshire that can carry this team. Utah gets blown out by 30 points. That's not a good look heading into the tournament. I don't care who you are. While they're going to beat a Fresno State team that really isn't as good, they're going to lose to a Gonzaga team that I just see being a little bit better and, again, being one of the hotter teams heading into the tournament. Because in previous years, when Gonzaga's a high team, they honestly don't do well. That's honestly one of my tips to give you. When Gonzaga's a 1 or 2 or 3 seed, they don't do well in the tournament. They're a team that's an 11 seed, an underdog. Wasn't supposed to make the tournament. They are now, and so I think they're going to beat Utah, head to the next round.
Mine was Seton Hall, number 6 versus Utah, number 3. And I agree, Utah will be going down. I see Seton Hall winning, but it's going to come down to a main factor between these two teams, and that's foul trouble. Now, the Pirates are not deep, mainly relying on only 6 players, so it will be crippling if they get into foul trouble. With Utah, it's the same way. One game with foul trouble for Polittle could lead to the end of the Utah season in a very short order. So, depending on the fouls, I'm still going to go with Seton Hall winning.
Yeah, I know you're talking about Pirtle. Yeah, he's a pretty good player. He'll go mid-round in the NBA draft, but that Utah team, overall, they're going to get blown out. Dayton, Michigan State. Look, this is a favorable upset for most people, I would say. Again, Dayton making the second weekend for 3 years in a row would get Archie Miller a really big job. He already should get a big job right now. That being said, I like this Michigan State team a little bit better. Denzel Valentine is the Draymond Green of college basketball, not just because they went to Michigan State, but his ability to get triple doubles and being the anchor for this team, whether it be shooting the ball, distributing the ball, getting the hard boards. This Michigan State team is as deep as can be. When they went to the national championship game against North Carolina about 5, 6, 7 years ago. So I'm liking this Michigan State team, going with them to beat Dayton.
I agree. Michigan State will beat Dayton only because Dayton doesn't have Steph Curry. If Steph Curry was on Dayton, again, I would say I would pick them, no problem.
You mean Davidson, right?
Jeez. Okay, well, that's my mistake. Michigan State over Dayton, no problem. If they had Steph Curry, awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, look, Steph Curry on Dayton right now would be great. Just give the ball to Steph. Anyway. All right, go back to the top. UVA, Purdue. It's all right. We both messed up one in this bracket. It's fine.
Okay,
UVA, Purdue. Again, UVA to get to the Elite Eight.
UVA to the Elite Eight as well.